how well this is going to go, but I'm excited to try. Okay, should I get some of the jelly or the grape on it? I want the...
To hear my side of the story, don't you think? I am Paul Atreides, son of Leto Atreides, Duke of
They fooled the world, but was their love signed, sealed, and scripted from the start? For months, Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet's unlikely romance dominated headlines, sparked fan theories, and flooded social media with viral clips. But behind the paparazzi smiles and red carpet whispers, there's a growing suspicion that this wasn't just a relationship. It was a carefully negotiated Hollywood arrangement. And when you look closely at the timing, the staged moments, and the power players involved, the truth starts to look a lot more like business than love. In the glittering world of Hollywood, not every romance is as spontaneous as it seems. Some of the most headline-grabbing couples aren't united by love at all. They're bound by strategy. Behind closed doors in sleek offices far from the paparazzi's flash, relationships are quietly negotiated like any other business deal. These arrangements, often called PR relationships or contractual romances, aren't fairy tales. They're campaigns. For decades, entertainment insiders have whispered about these setups, and the patterns are hard to miss once you know where to look. A rising star pairs with a household name just as their first blockbuster is set to drop. A singer's love life suddenly explodes across tabloids right before a world tour announcement. A reality TV icon starts dating a critically acclaimed actor the moment their brand takes a hit. Each pairing conveniently floods social media with fresh content, shifting focus away from scandals or giving a career the kind of boost no publicist's press release could ever achieve. The formula is simple but effective. Step 1, the chance meeting in a setting where cameras are guaranteed, award show after parties, fashion week front rows, or star-studded charity galas. Step 2, the tease. This might be a blurry paparazzi shot of them leaving the same restaurant, or a vague Instagram story that has fans zooming in and speculating for days. Step 3, the big reveal. Hand-holding at a sold-out concert, whispered exchanges at the Met Gala, or a well-lit kiss caught by multiple camera angles that just happen to go viral. These moments don't just make headlines. They're engineered to dominate the news cycle for weeks, drawing attention to both stars' projects, partnerships, and personal brands. Public interest equals power. And in the entertainment industry, power always equals money. The beauty of a PR relationship is that it benefits both parties. One gets prestige.
I'm a mommy.
Mommy?
I'm a mom.
Mamacita.
I'm kidding.
The other gets reach. Sometimes one gets a complete image makeover, while the other gains credibility in spaces they've never been accepted before. And when the arrangement has served its purpose, it's over, clean, quick, and often without drama. The split is either quietly slipped into the gossip columns between other stories or spun into another media moment to stretch the buzz a little longer. No one on the inside ever admits to it outright. Legal contracts often include airtight NDAs to protect the illusion. But fans have become skilled at spotting the cracks. Awkward body language, the absence of genuine intimacy in candid moments.
If you watch Sex Lives of College Girls on HBO, then you already know that Pauline Chalamet is Timothée Chalamet's older sister, and for the life of me,
and a suspicious tendency for these relationships to line up perfectly with career milestones. Which brings us to Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet. To the untrained eye, their pairing was just quirky enough to be believable. A billionaire beauty mogul and an indie film darling colliding in an unexpected twist. But to those who've seen this play before, it had all the hallmarks of a deal struck for mutual benefit. From the suspicious timing to the flawlessly staged first sightings, it's hard not to wonder, was this really a romance or a business arrangement wearing the mask of love? And when you line up the timeline of their appearances with each of their career moves,
big T. T. Just T. Personally, I find that least offensive. What about you?
the picture gets even clearer. If there's one thing that makes seasoned Hollywood watchers suspicious, it's when a high-profile romance seems to materialize at the exact moment both people could use a strategic image boost. And for Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet, the timeline wasn't just interesting, it was textbook. Let's set the stage. In the months before Timothee's name was ever linked to Kylie, her public image was in a transitional and somewhat vulnerable phase. The breakup with Travis Scott was still fresh in the gossip cycle. The Jordan Woods scandal had left lingering trust questions among fans. And her beauty empire, while still powerful,
How do you feel? I feel so good! I feel young, wild, and free. I'm literally summering!
was facing fiercer competition than ever before. Critics were calling her out for being out of touch, while online conversations increasingly focused on her controversies instead of her accomplishments. Kylie Jenner wasn't disappearing from relevance. She's far too savvy for that. But she was in need of a fresh, positive storyline. Meanwhile, Timothée was gearing up for one of the biggest stretches of his career. The highly anticipated Dune. Part 2 was on the horizon, a Willy Wonka prequel was in the works, and multiple high-profile endorsements were about to drop. Within industry circles, he was already beloved, a critically acclaimed, serious actor. With indie credibility and fashion world clout. But there's a massive difference between being an industry darling and being a name that dominates every mainstream headline. To cross that threshold, you need the kind of cultural saturation that only a few people in the world can provide. And Kylie Jenner just happens to be one of them. Then came the coincidences. April 2023, Paparazzi just happened to catch Kylie's black Range Rover pulling into Timothee's Beverly Hills driveway. The image was vague enough to spark speculation, without confirming anything concrete. Days later, the celebrity gossip machine roared to life.
Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet put breakup rumors to rest with a laid-back day at the beach in Saint-Tropez. Kylie wore
with Instagram accounts like Du Moi hinting at a secret romance between the two. The leaks kept coming, strategically paced to let curiosity build. By September, the pair made their first undeniable public display at Beyoncé's Renaissance tour in Los Angeles. The moment, a camera-perfect kiss captured from multiple angles, immediately flooding social media. Was it genuine affection? Maybe. But the lighting, the visibility, and the timing were so ideal, it looked like a PR director's dream. Just weeks later, they popped up at the US Open, sitting courtside in full view of sports photographers, laughing and leaning into each other as the flashbulbs went off.
The #1 undercover snow bunny, you can't convince me otherwise that it's not Timothée Chalamet. I think Kylie...
The alignment of events was hard to ignore. Kylie's sudden link to an Oscar-nominated serious actor helped soften her public image, distancing her from reality TV drama and painting her as a more refined, fashion-forward figure. Timothée's association with a billionaire beauty mogul and pop culture icon exploded his presence in gossip columns, TikTok edits, and fan accounts, platforms that hadn't traditionally been obsessed with him. For two people in very different corners of celebrity culture, the mutual benefits were obvious. And the rollout was so neat, so perfectly timed with their respective career agendas, that calling it a coincidence feels naive.
Babe, don't do the green bandana thing. Why, babe? I'm a trendsetter, you know, king of my craft. I gotta represent, you know, I gotta take some.
In Hollywood, Timing is rarely accidental, it's manufactured. But suspicious timing is only the first red flag. Because when you start paying attention to how Kylie and Timothee actually interacted in public, the chemistry didn't always match the hype. And that's where the story gets even more interesting. From the very first time Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet appeared together, fans were divided. On paper, they were an it couple made for headlines, a billionaire beauty mogul and a critically acclaimed actor with indie credibility. But in practice, something about their connection just didn't sit right with a lot of people watching. At Beyoncé's Renaissance tour, their big public debut should have been electric.
So do we think Kylie Jenner and Pauline Chalamet are like friends? Like, are they like hanging out? Is Kylie watching Sex Lives of College?
Instead, the kiss that made global news felt almost rehearsed. Perfect camera angles, perfect lighting. Even the way Kylie leaned in, hand placement, timing, everything, looked like it had been run through a PR checklist. And while casual fans gushed over the clip, others immediately noted that their body language seemed stiff, as if they were hyper-aware of the audience watching. The same thing happened at the US Open. Sitting courtside with a clear view for every photographer in the arena, they laughed, whispered, and leaned into each other just enough to give the tabloids what they needed. But for those paying closer attention, the energy felt off.
I know you also brought your partner in crime, Kylie, here too. What's it like to have her supporting you on a night like this?
It's a great feeling to be.
More like two people performing affection than two people lost in it. Their interactions were sporadic, calculated, and oddly formal, lacking the easy, natural intimacy you'd expect from a couple supposedly caught up in a whirlwind romance. Body language experts weighed in too. Some noted that Timothée often sat slightly angled away from Kylie in photos, while Kylie tended to maintain her posture instead of leaning in comfortably. These aren't definitive signs of anything on their own, but combined with the rest of the context, they added to the growing suspicion that the relationship was more of a photo opportunity than a personal connection.
Kylie Jenner, y'all, should I try her new fragrance? I mean, these look very promising. And before, because
Fans online were quick to call it out. It's giving staged, one viral tweet read. Another comment on Instagram summed it up bluntly. It looks like they're filming a commercial, not on a date. And while celebrity couples are always aware of the cameras, the sheer precision of Kylie and Timothee's appearances made it feel like there was a playbook they were following. That's the thing about PR relationships. They often blur the line between performance and reality. And with Kylie and Timothee, the line seemed almost too clear. Their chemistry wasn't the unpredictable, messy kind that usually comes with real attraction. It was polished, predictable, and perfectly packaged.
At first I was like, why is Timothee wearing this, right? But then I saw online that for Dune 3, people suspect that Timothee shaved his head.
And when you combine that with the fact that every single public appearance seemed perfectly timed for maximum exposure, the idea of a contractual arrangement doesn't just seem possible. It starts to feel likely. But the timing and the chemistry were just part of the picture. The way they were seen together is another piece of the puzzle. And it's a piece that raises even more questions. In Hollywood, the paparazzi don't just magically appear at the right place and time. They're often tipped off. And when it came to Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet, their public sightings felt far too precise to be accidental. Take their very first leaked connection. Kylie's black Range Rover conveniently photographed pulling into Timothée's Beverly Hills driveway.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. I love it. I feel really bad. Yeah, I love it. I feel like guys.
The shot wasn't taken from a crowded street or at a public event. It was a private, tucked-away location that would normally require a tip-off for photographers to be waiting at the perfect moment. A week later, gossip blogs were running with the story, sparking curiosity without confirming anything. Then came Beyoncé's concert, where their debut kiss was captured in multiple high-quality angles in a crowd of thousands. These weren't blurry, last-minute snaps. They were crisp, perfectly framed shots, as if the photographers knew exactly where to aim before it even happened. And within hours, the images were everywhere, from gossip pages to mainstream news sites.
Watch the Knicks lose. That was sad.
Did you see Kylie Jenner's repost of the I only get laid if the Knicks win?
The U.S. Open appearance followed the same formula. Sitting courtside in full view of dozens of long-lens cameras, the couple was photographed laughing, leaning in, and sharing just enough intimate moments to look like a genuine couple while giving the press gold. Every image had that perfect balance of romance and visibility. Not too private, not too staged, but staged just enough. These weren't random encounters. They were well-timed, high-impact appearances that fit neatly into the life cycles of both Kylie and Timothee's projects. Whenever one of them had a product launch, a fashion campaign, or a film on the horizon.
Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet break up after 7 months? She got dumped? Whoever wrote this article has lost their
A new sighting or photo drop conveniently reignited the conversation. Industry insiders have long confirmed that this is how PR relationships work. Appearances are scheduled like press tours, each moment designed to sustain a media narrative. You control when you're seen, how you're seen, and exactly what the public will take away from it. For Kylie and Timothee, these spontaneous moments checked every box of that strategy. And if you look at the patterns, the precision becomes impossible to ignore. Each public sighting was a calculated chapter in a story that seemed less about two people in love and more about two brands working in perfect sync.
When Apple found out, of course, Timothée Chalamet was in it, then that sealed the deal.
It's like, yeah, Mom, you have.
But in this kind of arrangement, there's almost always a guiding hand making sure the story plays out exactly as planned. And in Kylie's case, that hand might belong to someone who's been running this playbook for decades. If there's one thing the entertainment industry knows for certain, it's that Kris Jenner doesn't just manage her daughters, she engineers cultural moments. Over the years, she's perfected the art of turning personal life events into headline-making opportunities. Whether it's through carefully timed announcements, viral photos, or entirely new narratives crafted to protect and elevate the family brand. And when it comes to Kylie Jenner's relationship with Timothée Chalamet,
Wondering how Kylie and Timothee are doing 2 years into their relationship while balancing super busy schedules, a source tells people they are making it work.
the fingerprints of Kris's strategy are hard to miss. Kris has a reputation for being the ultimate media tactician. She understands how to make a romance feel spontaneous while actually following a meticulous plan. It's the same formula that has kept the Kardashian-Jenner name in the spotlight for over a decade. Create intrigue, control the flow of information, and make sure every story benefits the brand. If this was a PR relationship, there's little doubt she had a hand in shaping it. Consider the timeline. Every major Kylie-Timothee appearance landed in a sweet spot, either before one of Kylie's product launches or in the lead-up to Timothee's movie promotions.
Everybody's talking about this Leonardo DiCaprio quote. He gave Timothée Chalamet some advice on his career, and that advice was no hard drugs and...
That kind of synchronization doesn't happen by chance. It's coordinated PR synergy, and Kris Jenner is a master of it. She knows exactly how to take the heat off a negative headline or redirect attention to a new narrative that benefits her client, especially when that client is her own daughter. Then there's the subtle control of the narrative. Early leaks about the relationship came through gossip accounts that have long been known to have a friendly relationship with the Kardashian camp. When the couple went quiet, for a while it wasn't radio silence. It was a calculated pause that built anticipation for their next public appearance.
I'm just confused how we've been sleeping on this man for so long. Finally, our Jewish king, Timothée Chalamet, is getting his star.
Kris knows that absence can create just as much buzz as a viral photo, and she uses that to keep the public hooked. Insiders have even speculated that Kris may have been the one to greenlight which events Kylie attended with Timothee and which she skipped. By limiting their joint appearances, she ensured each sighting was valuable and newsworthy, never overexposing the pairing, but always keeping it in the conversation. If this was indeed a contractual arrangement, Kris's role wouldn't have just been as a supportive momager. She would have been the architect, setting the terms, negotiating the visibility, and ensuring the partnership delivered maximum return for Kylie's image and business interests.
He's saying that a lot of actors aren't doing it because they're too scared to go on these podcasts, and that's why there are less movie stars today, because back in the day...
And if Kris really was behind the scenes pulling the strings, then Kylie wasn't navigating this supposed romance alone. She had the most experienced public relations mind in Hollywood guiding her every step. Which makes the next part of the story even more interesting, because in these arrangements, both parties are supposed to benefit. And the way things were playing out, Kylie's advantages were becoming very clear. But what about Timothee's? When whispers about Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet's contract romance started picking up online, it wasn't just fans fueling the speculation. Industry insiders began dropping hints too. These weren't wild conspiracy theorists on Reddit.
Kylie Jenner is allegedly dating Timothée Chalamet, and the internet has gone wild. Now, if this is true, I'm really worried for...
They were plugged-in sources who'd seen this type of setup play out many times before, and their comments made the whole thing sound a lot less like fantasy and a lot more like standard Hollywood business. Some of the earliest signs came from blind items, those anonymous gossip posts that keep identities thinly veiled but obvious enough for readers to connect the dots. One in particular described a meme actor who was enjoying the perks of a billionaire reality star's lifestyle without ever planning to make the relationship serious. Another claimed the pairing was mutually beneficial, with both parties set to receive a PR boost during key career moments, and that the entire rollout was being carefully managed by her mother.
Well, what do you know? Timothée Chalamet traipsing around Saint-Tropez, his cultural succubus of a love interest in...
Fans didn't need a magnifying glass to figure out who it was referring to. There were also murmurs from the fashion and entertainment worlds. A few stylists and event coordinators, speaking off the record, noted that certain appearances, like their night at the Beyoncé concert or courtside seats at the US Open, were locked in weeks in advance. In other words, these weren't random outings where the couple just happened to get caught. They were planned fixtures on their joint publicity calendar. Even the way their sightings were spaced out fit the industry's PR rhythm. One insider pointed out that if you look at the timeline, every public moment seemed to drop right before a spike in media coverage for...
I love Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner together. Like, they're so hot next to each other, and they just make such a delicious pair.
Either Kylie's brand launches or Timothée's film promotions. That kind of synergy doesn't happen naturally. It's the result of teams on both sides coordinating to make sure they each get their moment in the spotlight. And while no one would go on record confirming an actual written contract, those who work closely with celebrity management teams know verbal agreements and handshake deals are just as common. A soft contract can be as simple as you'll be seen together X number of times, you'll give each other mutual social media visibility, and you'll time your appearances around major professional milestones. By itself, none of this is smoking gun proof. But when you put the blind items, behind-the-scenes planning, and suspiciously perfect timing together...
Kylie Jenner posted a selfie, and fans are convinced Timothée Chalamet is in the background. Hey there, it's Charlie Knight from TMZ. So Kylie Jenner...
You start to see a pattern that feels a lot less like romance and a lot more like strategy. And if this really was a mutually beneficial setup, then the question becomes, just how much did each of them get out of it? Because the balance of benefits in a deal like this can reveal a lot about who's really holding the power. If Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet's romance was, in fact, a PR arrangement, it's not hard to see how both sides could have profited from the deal. The beauty of these setups, at least in theory, is that everyone walks away with something valuable, whether it's credibility, visibility, or a carefully refreshed public image.
Timothée Chalamet at 25 is one of the highest paid young actors around. He's worth $10 million personally. And his career started small, where in 2009 he made...
For Kylie, the advantages were immediate. Linking up with an Oscar-nominated actor known for his artistry and indie credibility helped her step outside the reality TV bubble she's been boxed into for years. The association gave her a touch of prestige. Suddenly, she wasn't just a cosmetics mogul or a Kardashian-Jenner starlet. She was a woman being photographed alongside a critically respected, serious actor. It softened her image, lent her a more high-fashion edge, and even helped her cross into entertainment spaces where her name had previously been dismissed as tabloid material. She also got the crossover audience, Timothee's devoted fan base, which had previously lived almost entirely in film and fashion circles.
PR relationships, I think that's what they call it. Do you think that that happens a lot, or do people overassume that?
Suddenly, his fans were talking about Kylie, dissecting her looks, her business moves, and even defending her against online hate. That kind of demographic expansion is priceless in branding. For Timothée, the benefits were arguably even more dramatic. While he's never struggled for critical acclaim, he's rarely been a constant fixture in mainstream gossip culture. Kylie changed that overnight. With her came daily headlines, viral, TikTok edits, and constant chatter on social media. He wasn't just that guy from Call Me By Your Name anymore. He was half of one of the most talked about celebrity pairings of the year.
And in terms of facial thirds dominance, Kylie is balanced between upper and mid zones, suggesting thoughtful control paired with social.
That's the kind of mass market recognition that studios love when deciding who gets the lead in their next tentpole film. And then there's the fashion factor. Kylie's presence elevated Timothée's visibility on red carpets, expanding his reach with luxury brands. Being photographed with one of the world's most followed women made him a more attractive face for high-profile campaigns, and it didn't hurt that their appearances often coincided with major fashion events. In essence, it was a trade-off. Kylie got cultural credibility and a foothold in Timothée's elite circles, while Timothée gained unprecedented exposure in Kylie's world of relentless.
Let's be honest, Timothée and Kylie's relationship has always looked so weird. I will never be able to picture these two having an actual conversation.
Global-level fame. On paper, it was a win-win. But PR relationships are like any other business deal. Once the benefits start to wane, the partnership can quickly lose its shine. And judging by the way things have been playing out recently, the arrangement, if it existed, may be reaching its expiration date. For a couple that seem to have their public appearances timed down to the minute, the recent shift in Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet's dynamic has been hard to ignore. After months of precisely coordinated outings, Beyoncé's concert, the US Open, perfectly lit red carpet moments, things have gone noticeably quiet. No new sightings, no subtle Instagram nods, no carefully staged, spontaneous paparazzi captures.
Timothée Chalamet ignores Kylie Jenner. To watch Hollywire on your Samsung TV Plus, channel 2970. Kylie Jenner was by...
In the world of PR relationships, silence often speaks louder than any public statement. When a deal is active, the calendar is full. Events to attend, photo ops to coordinate, social media moments to seed. But when that calendar suddenly clears, it can mean one thing: the terms are up or the mutual benefits have run their course. For Kylie, the timing might make sense. She's already reaped the rewards of association with a respected actor, shifted her public image towards something sleeker and more high fashion, and sparked plenty of media intrigue. Staying linked to Timothée past the point of maximum benefit risks, turning the story stale. And Kylie's brand thrives on freshness.
Kylie Jenner responds to those Timothée Chalamet breakup rumors. Get to watch Hollywire on Samsung TV Plus, channel 1107.
For Timothée, the withdrawal could be equally strategic. With Dune, With Part 2 and other major projects now firmly on the public's radar, he doesn't need a constant stream of gossip coverage to stay relevant. In fact, too much Kardashian-Jenner exposure could start to chip away at the indie credibility he's worked hard to maintain. The fallout from a quiet disengagement like this is usually minimal by design. There's no messy public breakup, no dramatic unfollows, no tabloid exclusives spilling ugly details. The story simply fades from the headlines, replaced by new narratives for each party. Kylie might roll out a new brand launch or step out with a different high-profile companion.
Okay, you guys, yes, I did mean Pauline Chalamet. Real ones know where this picture's from.
Timothee might reappear at film festivals with his co-stars, reclaiming his image as the enigmatic private leading man. Still, for those paying attention, the sudden distance is a red flag that this may have always been a timed arrangement. And in the PR playbook, disappearing at the peak of public interest isn't a mistake. It's the final move. It leaves the public wanting more, replaying old moments and speculating endlessly about what really happened. And that speculation, for a brand like Kylie's or a career like Timothee's, isn't a side effect, it's the point. From the outside, Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet's relationship look like an unpredictable Hollywood romance.
Here's why Kylie and Timothee broke up during their romantic getaway. While fans thought they were living it up in Turks and Caicos, the truth is way.
A crossover between two worlds that couldn't be more different. But when you trace the timeline, examine the perfectly timed appearances, and connect the dots between career moves and public moments, the story starts to feel less like chance and more like strategy. If this was a PR arrangement, it was a masterclass in execution. Kylie gained cultural credibility, a refined image, and access to Timothee's highbrow circles. Timothee gained unprecedented mainstream attention, a constant presence in pop culture, and a foothold in the world of relentless global fame. Both got exactly what they needed until they didn't.
Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet have reportedly met each other's families now. I'm sick as shit, but news don't stop. These photos are reportedly...
Now, the sudden silence between them may be the clearest sign yet that the arrangement, if it ever existed, has run its course. No dramatic endings, no public fallout, just a gradual fade that leaves enough mystery to keep people talking. Because in Hollywood, sometimes the end of the story isn't about heartbreak. It's about knowing when to step away while the audience is still hooked. And for Kylie and Timothee, whether this was love, business, or a little bit of both, they may have just pulled off one of the most efficient and most talked about plays in the celebrity PR game.